Welcome back. So this video is going to be a part of my MGM experience video. So this is like episode 4, or is it like episode 3? Before I get into this video, I want to say I have experienced discrimination and bullying from all races of people. But I'm going to talk about my experiences with other mixed and light-skinned people because I feel like it's something that's not spoken about as much. And this video is not to bring down biracials or light-skinned Black Americans. You know, I saw myself as biracial and light-skinned Black for the longest. Other people said I was biracial. Some people have told me I'm just Black. Some people have told me I'm not even Black. I still consider myself a light-skinned Black woman, but I go back and forth between mixed and Black. And I only really use the term MGM online. I also wanted to point out this one comment. You know, I understand biracial individuals go through a lot from the Black community. I've seen the disgusting things Black people have said about mixed race people. Of course, I'm not talking about all Black people, but, you know, when I say that, you know what I'm talking about. Personally, I see the shortened word of mulatto as a mixed race slur, and I have taken offense to people calling me that or trying to belittle me for having some type of like white adjacency, or they assume I'm biracial mixed with white. So I get it. So I can understand if she felt targeted. But I mean, it was pretty obvious that this video was not intended for negativity. So I think she herself has some type of insecurity or that internalized biracial hierarchy I'm about to talk about. One thing I want to ask though is, why are other mixed people in exoticals, whether you're dark skinned or light skinned exotical, why are these groups on the minds of biracial people? Why can't we all just come together as exoticals? And I know someone might get offended, but I'm not talking about all biracial people, like I said. But anyway, me personally, whenever I came across another mixed race person, I was like, oh, cool, someone just like me, even if they didn't have the same cultural background as me. Nowadays, it's like you have to walk on eggshells, but I'm not going to do that anymore. So people can be mad and take things the wrong way if they want. I'm here just to educate and, just talk about things I want to talk about. So today I'm going to admit that there are jealous biracials and jealous light-skinned Black people. One observation I want to point out is how I've seen light-skinned people bully other light-skinned people rather than light-skinned people bully dark-skinned people. Matter of fact, I've seen other dark-skinned Black people go against other dark-skinned Black people. Now, I'm not saying light skin on dark skin bullying doesn't exist, but I'm just saying that's what I've seen. When I was little, the topic I remember revolving around my skin colors when my mom told me, some girls might not like you because your skin tone is a little lighter. Being younger, I didn't really understand that completely, but basically my mom was saying that the reason behind that was because it stemmed from slavery. I never heard, oh, you're better because you're light skinned. I wasn't hyped up in my family for being light skinned. Of course, I was told I was pretty or beautiful in other ways, but never specifically for my skin complexion. When it comes to dark skinned people belittling me, I have a couple scenarios in my adult life that I will talk about in another video, but 5th grade is like the earliest memory I have of a dark skinned Black girl disliking me for no reason. I can't 100% say that was because of my complexion, but I remember wanting to be her friend, and it's just like I would catch her staring at me and then she would like roll her eyes at me, so that was weird. Another negative experience from grade school is like when a dark-skinned girl tried to put gum in my hair. That was obvious jealousy because her hair was damaged from being permed, and that day I wore my hair straight in like these 2 pigtails, so I mean, like, that's just obvious jealousy. Another memory that sticks out from grade school is when this light skin or mixed girl with a big mouth would make an effort to belittle me in front of the whole class. And then along my preteen years, I remember getting together with some family friends. They were Black and they had their own friends from school come over. And I remember specifically this light skinned girl ignoring me the whole time. And There was another time I went on a trip with this dark skinned black girl. She was very sweet. Her family was very nice, and she had her friend over who was with another family, and she happened to be light skinned or mixed. And she did the same thing to me, which was ignore me. Like, I just remember we were swimming and I remember playing along, but the light skinned girl was like trying to purposely exclude me. Again, I didn't realize this was competition or a hierarchy thing. And the reason I'm just talking about my childhood experiences is because there's a certain mentality that has been instilled in black and light skinned people and mixed people since they were children. Then my teenage years, I started to see how light skinned and mixed women were represented in the media. I did see that they were the main ones in music videos and stuff like that, but I didn't see them as being better than dark skinned women. It was more so like being like, oh, that girl looks like me. She has curly, poofy hair, tan skin. Maybe I can be pretty and famous like that one day. So it was more about representation. The whole 2010 video vixen or the light skin or mixed Tumblr girl is what I looked up to in terms of beauty and validating myself, because I myself went through a lot of insecurities. Seeing these girls was like the representation I wanted to feel better about myself. I remember in middle school that the culturally black, mixed, or light-skinned girls were like the ringleaders of their group. So there would be like one or two mixed or light-skinned girls and maybe like one or two dark-skinned girls. Usually one of the light-skinned girls will go out of her way to exclude me or make fun of me, and the dark-skinned girls would follow along. But also there were like separate occasions where the dark skinned girls would make fun of me by themselves. So I mean, I saw that as like black girls as a whole bullying me. High school, the same thing seemed to happen. When I was a dancer at a mostly all black studio, I remember when I first joined the class, one of the advanced dancers, who happened to be a light skinned black girl, wasn't welcoming to me at all. She never uttered a whole word to me the whole 2 years I was there. So when I was the new girl, she never made an effort to talk to me or introduce herself. And I wasn't even a threat skill-wise because, like I said, she was one of the advanced dancers. She would also make fun of me, like not within earshot, but I specifically remember her and a dark-skinned girl going out of their way to point their fingers at me, and they were like giggling and laughing at me for whatever reason. So that experience in general is like what really made me withdraw myself from other people while I was enrolled there. One thing I did realize was that my looks and my body were a threat to some of those girls. That's like also something I got complimented on by other girls in that studio. I remember we were doing like a hip hop routine and the dance instructor was like hyping me up, and then some girl gave me a dirty look, and then she felt the need to like randomly twerk in front of everybody so the attention could be on her. So that was just obvious jealousy. But going back to this particular advanced dancer, one thing that did confirm this light skin versus light skin jealousy is when we had a performance, and at the end of the performance, her family was waiting for her outside. And I was just like looking for my mom, and I remember as I walked past, they gave me like the dirtiest up and down look. And like, I didn't even do anything. Again, I summed that up to black women in general not liking me. And yes, her family members happened to be light skinned. Like, her own mom gave me a dirty ass look. Like, what the fuck? Like, how was I supposed to be a threat? I might make a separate story time on this, but the girl kind of got her karma at the end. This light skin hierarchy started to become more apparent when biracial people would give me the same treatment. I do have individual stories about that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But when I think when parents instill, oh, you're pretty because you're light skinned or you're pretty because you're mixed, I think that can make people turn out to be arrogant. Nothing wrong with validating your child's mixed race features, but I think when you make that their whole identity, it can be harmful. So it could go either way. You have someone like me who is very aware of having certain experiences as a black mixed light skinned woman, but I was also afraid of embracing a part of my beauty and fear of getting shut down. But now I'm learning to love and appreciate my complexion because it is a part of me, but I would never use that to bring someone down. And then you have the biracials and other mixed and light skinned people who are also aware of this, but instead of confidence, it turns into arrogance. And arrogance breeds insecurity. So when a light skinned black American or a biracial comes across another mixed person or light skinned person, their insecurity or competitive side comes out. For some reason, I experienced the most interesting conflict with biracials who happen to be mixed with black and white. I'm not completely sure why this is. One of my theories is that they are jealous of what I'm mixed with specifically. I've had people tell me I look like some type of Hispanic, so if a biracial person is used to being hyped up because one of their parents is white or because they have white features, or they might have a white supremacist mindset. One of my other theories is that it's like a texturism thing. So when my experience with hair will be another video, but that's just like another random theory. We've all seen the beef black Americans and mixed race people have already. Like, there's no denying that. But again, both biracials and monoracial light skinned people do have this hierarchy in mind because they both want to be the token light skin. If this happened to you where you felt like you were excluded by other mixed race people and other light skinned black people, or just black people in general who express their disdain for exoticals, just know it's probably because you have something they don't have. Maybe they wish they had dark curly hair like you, or light brown hair, or maybe they wish they were slimmer or curvier. Maybe they wish they had your eyes, your freckles, your nose, your lips, or your cultural background, or even the way you carry yourself. And I'm gonna say it, and maybe others won't like it, but if you're perceived as being more exotic, then you're gonna get some hate from insecure people in these two groups. Men specifically, I noticed, will try to humble you by talking about somebody else's features or comparing you to another mixed or light-skinned person. Like, I had someone do this a few times randomly out of the blue. This was by a mixed biracial dude, by the way. He did a lot of comparing with me to his exes, and he knows that I know that I think I'm cute. So yeah, that was just him trying to humble me. Maybe I should make a separate video on how black men and mixed race men will try to humble you. I'm like coming up with like so many subtopics. One thing I can say is that I must be super rare because every girl he's tried to compare me to didn't have hair or features like me or even the same cultural background as me. So I mean, he really must have felt the need to open up his mouth and try to humble me. And people will do that to you. Now, there's nothing wrong with believing you are pretty because of your complexion or your cultural background, but when you internalize it so much to the point of where you're threatened by another beautiful mixed or light-skinned black woman, then you have some internal issues you need to figure out. I understand that there are some cultural differences in both groups. I never had the experience of being raised by a white parent or even just having like a single monoracial black parent. Like, you know that TikTok thing where people say, oh, I can tell you were raised by a black mom or a white mom, like that whole thing. Biracial people have separate issues. The experience growing up, they have different types of insecurities. Like, I have mine. I have similar experiences and I have different experiences and different and similar traumas. One thing I do wonder is that, like, if being black culturally as a mixed race person affects the whole like hierarchy thing, because black people do pedestalize mixed race people. So I think it does play a part, but I don't think it's the main reason. One thing that comes to mind regarding trauma is like the whole issue of being raised by a white mom, which I've seen like trending on TikTok, and how they like experience their own parents being racist. I've seen interesting things like that. Something I can't relate to. Me, I had that blackness established in me as well as being around other Mexicans, but I still felt like I didn't really connect to blackness. I was still treated differently by black people. People pointed out that I wasn't completely black, but I was also told I was only black. So I couldn't understand why other light skinned and biracial people had this one sided beef with me if I'm supposedly black or biracial. So I was like, where do I fit in? And this caused a lot of insecurity because I was like, what is it about me that these people don't like? I really thought it was because of my features, because I was told I looked black, but then I was like, if that's the case, why am I excluded by black people? Um, I got to a point where I knew I didn't look like a completely monoracial, light skinned black woman. I would look at pictures of like light skinned Instagram models with beautiful black features and think that was the reason why I was excluded because I didn't have big lips or whatever. So I was like, why was I made to feel different? Maybe some people actually think they're better than you because they have looser or tighter hair. Really, I just sum that up to internalized racism. I don't think all biracials and light skins have this mentality. I feel like I do have to repeat that. I did have a genuine mixed race friend in high school. Even in my dance classes, I remember there was a really cool light skinned girl who I think was part Hispanic, but I'm not sure. In my college classes, I met some very sweet mixed race girls. So, if you're looking to make friends with other mixed race people, I think it's important to expand your horizons and just do different things and connect or network with individuals like you. I was living on the East Coast for a few months. I connected with other Latinos that looked like me. I was surprised when people would start speaking fluid Spanish to me. I mean, that happened on occasion at home when I would leave my primarily white hometown, but I felt like I could really fit in on the East Coast. And why was that? Well, because most East Coast Latinos are MGM. Not mestizo like Mexicans, but MGM. Usually they have like a mixture of like black, indigenous, and white. So many Latinos that look like me over there, and that's just something I want to explore more too. So, whether you're light skin, mixed, dark skin, just know the random hate you get from individuals is because you cause pressure. Okay? They see your beauty as a threat. Instead of handling the competition with humility, they want to try to exclude you, sabotage you, or bring you down in some type of way. Being in this exotical space, I can say that I appreciate the enthusiasm and the connections we have all formed. So this exotical space is where I've increased my confidence and it's even helped me restart my YouTube channel. Exoticals United is like one of the main reasons as to why I changed my perspective on a lot of these issues surrounding mixed and light skinned people. It's nice seeing us uplift each other, and I hope we all continue to educate on these different issues and build off of each other and continue to network and connect. Like, this community is just so fun to be a part of, and I just like love seeing it grow right in front of my eyes. So that's that. That's the end of the MGM experience, episode 3 or 4. I don't remember which one I did, but I'm going to come out with more story times and more experiences. Let me know if you can relate in the comments. I love being able to connect and relate to you all. So, yeah. If you're new here, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.